So this is an episode that I don't think anybody ever wants to record. Um, I don't know how to put this, guys. Um, so I'll come out right out and just say it. Uh, a lot of the listeners know, and you two knew, Stephanie and I were expecting a little boy.
Yeah.
He was supposed to arrive on the 30th, and unfortunately, we lost him. I wanted to jump on this call and record just a short episode. One, because I know you guys care, and two, because I know the listeners care. And if things seem a little off or you don't see me as much on social media, I wanted to give kind of a reason why. The thing that's made this hard for Stephanie and I is early on in the pregnancy, about 6 months ago, we found out that our little guy that we were having had Down syndrome. So we went through the journey of there's a grieving process that goes with that, where
hmm
you learn to accept that the child you're having is not going to have the life that you expect them to have, and you're not going to have the experiences with your child that you expect to have. We had finally gotten to a point again where we had gone through that grieving process, and we're again excited to welcome this boy into our lives, when about a week before his due date, we found out that he was no longer with us. And yeah.
Spencer, we love you, first off.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is something about this where even like recording something like this conversation we're having, you have been so kind to let us and let the listeners into your life, where, we've only done a few episodes here, and we've talked about your wife and you getting ready, right? All the preparation you put into it. And we've had that excitement, and just you allowing us into your lives, like, has been amazing. And also you, I think, sharing with everyone just what's happened. I know a lot of our listeners and friends at this point, I mean, friends, let's be real, have shown their love. And I think that's because you've been very vulnerable, obviously, probably less vulnerable than you've actually felt this past week. You don't owe anything to any of us, but thank you for letting us in and trying to help out in any freaking way we can.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been one of the biggest things, and we're a little bit removed from it, so the emotions aren't quite as raw, but they're definitely still there.
hmm
But the support from not just the listeners, I can't begin to thank everybody that has reached out. I know that some of our listeners have been through a similar situation, maybe not the exact same, but similar enough that you know what it's like and what I'm going through. But to those that haven't been through a situation like this, or you may know somebody that has, what I would say is keep reaching out. It's those messages of support that have meant a world of difference, and I can't begin to thank people enough. The first day it was a gut punch.
Yeah.
I needed some time alone just to process, and I came home, and you hear the phrase, somebody wailed, or like there's crying and there's sobbing, and then there's like a next level, and I was just crushed, and my dog came and curled up next to me and cried with me.
Mhm.
And I know that many of the listeners have been doing the same thing, not physically with me, but alongside me. And I know for Stephanie as well, we've been extremely touched by everybody that has reached out. Uh, we've read each of the messages that have been left on social media, or the messages that have been sent personally. And they've made just a world of difference. So I do want to say thank you to, first off, Kenneth, Kenny, Kent, to you.
You can call me whatever you want.
To you and Josh. You two are two of the first that I reached out to let know. And we've had experiences in the past where we would have been asked to hold things in, or it was inconvenient at the time, even though you're going through this personal tragedy. But you two are the first to say, hey, whatever you need. And one of the things I needed today was to spend some time with some friends, to laugh and to feel normal for a little bit. And you both have been extremely accommodating and sympathetic, while at the same time helping lift my spirits. Special shout out. I know I told you this, Kenny, but to Joel and Zach on Bacon Sale, I needed something to laugh at on the days afterwards, and listening to their show and their jokes lifted my spirits completely. And then Josh, to you specifically, when somebody goes through this, it's not just one person that's affected; it's an entire family at different levels. And I know that you've reached out to my brothers just to make sure that they're okay and they're making it through this as well. Stephanie and I are excited. We know that this little boy is going to be ours forever.
Mm.
And at this moment, things hurt, but we'll make it through. And if any of the listeners want to reach out or know somebody that is going through this, or ever in the future know somebody that goes through this, don't hesitate to reach out, or don't feel like it'd be awkward to say something, or even just send a message saying thoughts and prayers, because those do make a difference. To know that you're not alone and that you've got people there with you or thinking about you.
Yeah.
I know in the future, if I ever know somebody that's going through this, I'll check in on the first day and the second day. And if I ever feel like I'm being intrusive, I'll still check in, because when you're going through a loss like this, the thing that you want to do naturally is to isolate yourself on this little island of grief. But we have such a cool community here on the other show and in Utah in general, where no matter how much you want to be on your dang island alone, nobody lets you. And
Yeah.
they know it's for your own good, and it is for your own good. So keep reaching out, and just thank you to everybody for everything.
Both Kenny and I, we've told Spencer numerous times, hey, we understand if you can't record, like we're fine. We both of us can record. We have a community of other podcasters that can step in if needed. We want to make sure that you do have enough time to process. And the biggest thing, every time that we've said this, Spencer's like, I just want to be with my friends. I need a distraction. And that's essentially kind of what this podcast is all about, is a distraction. And it really is not a distraction just for the listeners. It's for us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think that was the impetus of us starting a podcast. When we reconnected a year ago, it was like a year ago in a month, right? So
Mhm.
Yeah.
near about, and it really was like I freaking missed you guys. And we, even though we didn't have anything planned for most of the year, we were like, we do need to be together more. We need to do something together. And
Mhm.
I'm grateful that I do get to spend this kind of time with you guys.
Same.
And Spencer, like you said, like, there have been many people who have said, hey, can I send anything to Spencer? And, what would he like? Josh and I are trying to plan dumb meals. And Spencer, I'm sure you're getting a few, but Spencer, really, you've just asked for support and for us to say hi.
Mhm.
I mean, we can give that. I mean, it's definitely something we can give
It's
if it even helps.
funny that you mentioned that, Kenny. The kind of the background of how long this show took to get going. I was the last one to agree. Josh and Kenny, for like 6 months, were asking me daily, like, "Hey, when are we gonna do a show? When are we gonna do a show?" And I was the one putting the brakes on things. And knowing now, being in this situation, having your support, and knowing that I'm here with friends that actually do care. I mean, this isn't we're talking about the show and this friendship, but Stephanie and I, she's been amazing. She's been my rock, and
Hmm.
I couldn't do this without her. I can't imagine going through something like this without her.
Yeah.
But you guys have been amazing, and we just wanted to drop a short episode to say what was going on. We kind of wanted to leave it as its own thing rather than in the regular episode to give it its room to breathe and the gravity that it needed.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a difficult topic as well for a lot of people, and we wanted to make sure that we gave it the space and the respect that the topic deserves as well.
And I just kind of we'll kind of end here, but just to anybody that is going through a hard time or is grieving themselves, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you and help you any way that I can. And to anybody else, if you're not grieving or you're not going through something hard, but you know somebody that is, trust your gut and reach out, because I guarantee that's the thing that they need.
Mm.
And that's what, even though they might not admit it, just reach out. If you want to do something nice like a meal, let me give you this advice. Just do it. Send them a DoorDash gift card or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't give them the choice, because there's a lot that's being processed and decisions to be made. But just those messages of support alone, hey, I'm thinking about you, those make all the difference. So don't stop reaching out to me or others that you know that are struggling.
Well, we love you, Spencer.
Thank you, Spencer. I love you.